What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Monday Scale News Update. If you're new to the show, we talk about the highlights of the news that happened over the last week in the scale world of RC. So, this week we had a handful of topics, some big ones, some little ones. Let's jump into them. Last week we talked about a rendering from Ottsix of the new KLR X4. Now, shortly after the release of the last Scale News update, we saw the first pictures of the first samples of those new tires. Now, these new tires are a little bit taller and a little bit narrower than the previous KLRs, and these new tires look very aggressive. Now, I don't have an actual date of when these new tires are supposed to be released, but as soon as I do see that, we'll make sure to do another update. Now, on the topic of tires, Proline last week also announced a new set of pre-mounted high racks and plastic beadlock wheels. Now, since they are pre-mounted, you're probably gonna have to dismount them anyway to change out the stock Hyrax foams. But if you wanna save a little bit of money on the package, they did release that this week, links in the description below. The biggest news for the week was definitely on the topic of Hobbico again. Now, we did see that Hobbico is going to go to auction. The biggest news around that, though, is that Horizon Hobby sent out a letter to all of their dealers letting them know that they have placed a bid on the company. If they do win the bid, they would be purchasing Hobbico and several of its brands, but not all of them. However, they would pick up brands like Axial, which would have the biggest effect on our scale market. As far as the total effect that it would have on the market, it's hard to say exactly. Horizon's already a really good sized company, and bringing something as large as Hobbico on board would be really interesting to see how that would then play out through the rest of the market and how things would change with its integration of brands that Horizon already has, like Spectrum and Low C, all of those other brands in-house that would compete with maybe a brand that Hobbico had. In the end, it would be interesting to see what would happen with brands like Viterra and Axial that kind of go head to head, but when the outside brand may have a much higher leg up than the house brand that they already have. Now, Viterra has more of a wide range of on-road and off-road vehicles, where Axial pretty much strictly off-road. So it'd just be interesting to see if they took parts of the Viterra brand, for example, and kind of let some of that fade off and then built up the Axial brand even further, or if they would let them both compete with each other. In the end, though, we have no idea who is going to be the winning bidder of this company, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it. It's an interesting time in the market, to say the very least, and I'm sure we'll be touching on it later in more Scale News updates. A new product that popped up here recently that I just ran across was from Northwest Scalar Designs, and it's the ST1 chassis table. Now, I actually used to use a chassis table that I had done myself, but it wasn't very refined. I just kind of did some crude work to it, but it really could have benefited from a lot more design time. Now, this new ST1 from Northwest Scalar Designs has a lot of that done to it. It's laser cut from stainless steel. Overall, it's got a lot of jigs and adjustments and things like that it comes with to really allow you to set up your axles, chassis, and all of the components that you would be looking to do to get a rig rolling. Overall, there's a lot to this table, a lot of parts and pieces. I'm actually really looking forward to taking a closer look at this table and seeing exactly how useful that it can be. If you guys are interested in a full chassis setup table, check the links in the description below. Now, jumping out of the market news and jumping into just news from the channel, I am looking to start a new build series, and I posted a little bit about it on the YouTube community page for my channel. The idea behind it is that I will take either $300 or $500 and build the best rig I can by using a lot of used parts, trading trucks, all that I can to try and build the best possible truck I can for this exact set budget. It's not something that I've really ever done, and I don't ever really use used parts or parts below market value when I'm trying to do a build series. So it wouldn't be something that would be as replicatable, but I think it would just be kind of a fun path to see what I can do, how I can take it, and where we could end up with a very set budget. The thing that I haven't decided is the exact budget. If I go with $300 or if I go with $500. And then I've also thought about doing $300 but not including electronics. So I'd be interested to hear from you guys if you'd rather see $300 or $500 and where you'd like to see those electronics fall into that build. For a lot of us that really like to build a truck with nice electronics, you know that $300 really doesn't even buy those. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Let me know what you guys think, 300 or 500, and what your thoughts are on that series. And lastly, something that doesn't have to do with RC at all, but I just saw this news today and it kind of bummed me out a little bit, and that is that Roadkill from the Motor Trend channel is no longer going to be posted on YouTube. It only is going to be posted on the Motor Trend On Demand site, which is a subscription-based site. Now, I am a cord cutter and I basically pay for all of the other streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, HBO Go, and the list goes on. But at this point, it almost seems like I'm paying for as many of these streaming services as I would be if I just paid for cable. And I just really am not looking forward to adding yet another one. I really enjoy the Motor Trend channel though, so I'm really thinking that it's gonna have to be another one of those subscriptions that I jump on board with. I don't know how many of you guys are big Roadkill fans, but if you've never checked it out, go check out some of the old episodes that are on YouTube. I really enjoy them. It's one of those series that I always liked to watch as soon as it came out, but now it's going to have to be another decision that I'm going to have to make on another subscription. And that will do it for the news this week, guys. As always, have an awesome week. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, please, if you aren't already. And I'll see you on the next one.